coming to your service, and the Black Ops 3 teaser trailer is finally out, and well, it's time to talk about it now, because this game, man, looks so much nicer than, well, Ghosts. I'm pretty sure that's self-explanatory, but this game basically is continuing the trend of what Black Ops 2 started, which is, technology corrupts America, and, basically people go crazy after, this crazy technology starts to be implemented into warfare and military defense and stuff like that. And that's actually a really cool theme. I like that topic a lot. I like the fact that people can sort of get the idea of Black Ops 3's feel by looking at Black Ops 2 and saying, okay, this is basically the baby step, and Black Ops 3 is where things go crazy corrupt, and it takes over humanity and stuff like that. I like this a lot because I think there's so many possibilities they could do now with multiplayer, and I like the fact that it's in the future also. I like the fact that it's not going back to World War II necessarily, because I know a lot of people like that, but I think the thing with World War II now is the gameplay is just so advanced with especially with Advanced Warfare bringing all these crazy movements and stuff like that, that if they were go back to Black Ops to World War II, excuse me, people would honestly feel a little bit disappointed with the game, just because I think it would be a little bit more boring compared to Advanced Warfare. There's not as much to do in that time period because the technology just hasn't been created and stuff like that. Granted, they could still create a fantastic game. I just don't know if it'll be the best game they can create. That's what I fear if they go into sort of the World War II era. I like the fact that it's in the future because there's so many things you can do in the future with regards to multiplayer. You can change the movement so much. You can add so many more abilities and make it seem realistic. Sure, if they wanted to, they could go back into World War II and do it. But of course, the big problem with that is realism, and everyone would say, hey, there's no exosuits in World War II, and that's the sort of big compromise there with going into the future, that even though you do have a lot more ready at your disposal to do in the future, there's the fact that you can't really go back into the past, because that if you want it to be a realistic game. Granted, I'm not a huge fan of realism in terms of overall taking over the game and stuff like that. I don't like it when a game is devote realistic, and no matter what it does, it's always gonna be realistic and stuff like that, because to me sometimes that gets into the way of the gameplay, and I don't like it when I'm sort of like, oh, I have to do this realistic thing instead of being a complete boss in games and just doing whatever you can. That's why people play games. That's one of the reasons why games are so awesome, because they're not realistic. They're not something that you see every single day. They're something completely different. They're different stories and unique things that you get to watch. This is what makes movies also so great. And I think it's almost a little bit sacrilegious to do something that's almost too realistic. And so I think it's great that Treyarch is sticking by to the realistic futuristic warfare, but I don't want it to be completely overturning the game. So I definitely want to see some sort of, not past elements necessarily, but I want to see something that represents classic gameplay, and classic gameplay should be the #1 factor in this game, keeping it central, just like Advanced Warfare did. I mean, they had exosuits, yeah, and exosuits were great, but it was still a classic Call of Duty feeling game, and that's what I like a lot. Moving on to the topics, there are a lot of things we saw multiplayer related to. Wall running is confirmed. Oh my god. This came out of nowhere. I did not think wall running would be such a big thing, but I mean, in the trailer they show a guy who's with a shotgun, and he's basically running on walls. He shoots this other guy, jumps, does a double jump, so double jump's also confirmed, and then he gets another guy from a distance, and it's pretty cool how he does it. I think I don't want to say it's copying Titanfall, but I think Titanfall definitely started the trend of exosuits and stuff like that. We can see from Star Wars Battlefront, that trailer that came out, and a lot of games that are coming out recently have started to do these exosuits and stuff, because they really are fantastic. They do so many things to the game, and I think they should be basically a staple of several games now, because I think we're in the era of robot suits and crazy technology that does that, because I think in games it just works out so well, because it gives you so many more options. With Halo is doing this as well, with the rocket boosters and thrusters and stuff like that. So I think it's fantastic of what they're doing. This whole swimming mechanics, I don't know exactly how that's gonna work. I mean, there's so many possible things they could do with the swimming mechanics. Just make it so that maybe you can stay in there forever. How is the transition from it? Is it like a big process? Does it feel forced? or is it like, you know, something that you could just get a sneak tactic on? I would prefer it to be sort of a sneaky tactic. I don't want it to be a complete overturn of the game. I don't want it to be where you have to sort of swim in the game. That would ruin the experience greatly, and you know, I think a lot of what fans want is the core gameplay with new things on it. That's how Call of Duty's been doing it for, you know, many years right now, and pretty sure that's how Black Ops 3 is gonna do it as well. So all those like movement features, I think are very good. The robots and all that stuff. We did see clips where there was where there were robots in the game. I don't know if this is campaign or multiplayer, but there's, you know, full out robot soldiers that are going in there. So I don't know if that's gonna be in multiplayer. Like, it'd be cool if you could choose between like a human and a robot, and you could have those different things. Maybe that's what the specialist thing is about. Maybe it's like, maybe it's not just, you know, humans and, you know, different kinds of humans, whether it's like a heavy or something like that. Maybe it's like a human and a robot, and like if you want to be a robot, you have, let's say, more health, but you move slower or something like that. That'd be cool. That'd be cool to do. I'd be totally down for that idea. I mean, granted, a lot of people would take time to get used to it, but I think what Black Ops 3 is doing is they're giving so much information already to accompany all this new information, new technologies and new methods and stuff that it's doing, so that, you know, people really sort of understand it as quickly as possible rather than be skeptical about it. I think that's the best way to go. I think that's fantastic. Of course, I mean, they got to do it like that. So anyway, that's been basically my Black Ops 3 review. There hasn't been too much information released. Like I said, you know, this is only in April. I did do a previous Black Ops 3, basically up to the point before the release of the trailer, all the information that was covered. So if you want to go see that video, that will be in the description below, and you can definitely go check that out. That'll also be an annotation on the screen, and that's going to be basically recapping everything that's new, everything that's been going on recently with all the trailers and leaks and information and stuff like that. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and please subscribe to both my channels because it gives me a lot of money. See you guys later. Bye.
Yeah? And then you become a fucking chief. You become a chief or what? Aw.
Can't become a chief. Chief, that's